What up, everybody? Scuffy here, and it's been a few weeks. Got stuff going on. Not gonna go on and on about it. Um, it's summertime. We got a lot of factors going on. We had new content. We got new things going on. We got real life stuff going on. Been 3 weeks. I hate going more than a week and not having a video. And I'm trying to get back on at least get one video done a week. Wrapped up all the card by cards. Finally, just in time for guess what? An entirely new faction to be added, the Loyalist Legios. In 7 days, we're going to get the Traitor Legios, so there'll be another faction. I'm not going to do a card by card on these guys just yet because I honestly expect some adjustments to be made, but that's not what I'm doing the video here about. There's not a whole lot of things for me to talk about that I haven't talked about in the podcast. If you haven't been listening to that, I recommend checking it out, but I'll sum it up. There's a lot going on in the game. We've got Warpforged coming out that is kind of getting people hyped up for 2023 or bringing in new people kind of curious about the game. There's World Cup that's going to be taking place at the end of July with qualifiers kicking up. All I want to do today is just do a video and talk about Titan killers. Titans are the thing. Everybody's talking about Titans. Everybody's trying out Titans. The event is too Titany. The faction itself, I'm not going to lie. I think there are some cards in here that can get adjusted, but I'm not going to go on rants about it. There's no point. This is what they are until they get changed. And if they get changed tomorrow or they get changed next month, until they do, whatever, deal with it. Sorry, guys. I didn't make it. I'm just rolling with it. So how am I rolling with it? I'm playing some Titan Killer decks. And I'll show you my decks. The decks that I've been using. I've been using about 3 or 4, but there's so many out there that I've run against with people kind of doing the same thing. And surprised, they're not much different than the decks that already work. I just started doing a Titan Killer with Namus right hand. Got a couple cards changed here a little bit. I might take out the Fire Drakes. I think they just move way too slow for me and focus more on the 2-3 drops and go that route. Survivor is a pill for the Titans. They really have a problem with that, especially if they're using weapons that are random targeting too. That's problematic for them. So that's something that I found. I've also found the one that I've been running for like almost all week, just because it's fun, and at the same time I just really like sticking it to Titans, is with the Marius Gage and the mission, the Sons of Ultramar mission. Which if you don't have Sons of Ultramar, guess what? You can still do Ultramarines fine against the against Titans. Don't be hesitant. But Marius Gage is able to give buffs, turn 1, play the mission, draw a card, and then from there kind of play out. Mantle of Ultramar actually is worth including in your decks again. Not that it was a bad card, but there was a certain point where like it was really good, and then Ultramarines kind of moved off to the side and it was too slow. Everybody, I don't want to give up my 5 energy turn to play Mantle of Ultramar. But in a Titan game, you can, because you're not going to lose anything. And everything that's next to your warlord is just going to get stronger, which is just going to get better when you are progressing against a Titan. But it's pretty basic. It's a lot of cheapy boys. It's a lot of just bodies on the board to get that mission triggered, and they will make your tactics. The Manius Recon and the Censured Squad are going to make tactics for you. I've only got 7 tactics in the deck, and surprisingly, they're the Miatis Cruiser ×2, the Macragge's Honor, Mantle of Ultramar, a single drilling site, and then I do have in the opening salvo just because it's good against stealth stuff, Defenders of Caliban, blah 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 blah. But I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that generated sometimes because it's a practical. My Censured Squad can get practicals. My Manius Recon can give me practicals. And then if you get the practical, the No Fear, that's almost a guaranteed courage against a Titan. That's a +5/+5 with Survivor, or +2/+2. +5/+5. You make a 3/3 a 5/5. Just a solid deck. I have I've played games. I would say over a dozen games with Titans with just Marius Gage, and I haven't lost a single one. And that doesn't have Ornithop's Barge in it. Like, it's just straightforward. If you're playing other Ultramarines, you play Gilliman, you've got Ornithop's Barge. You could throw out. I wouldn't put in Barnius. Just getting +1/+1. Like, I'd rather have like guys that are pinging for additional damage to break shields, which is one reason why I really like Alexa Squad. This guy I can either buff or I can drop and ping a shield. You can get you can get Honor the Fallen and get some of those guys back. Get them back cheaper. I don't have Logos Lectora. You'll notice that that is completely absent from that deck because Marius Gage is going to be drawing, and this is not necessary. Um, I've just found. At least that's what I found. Bikes, yeah. I mean, you could throw a bike in there just to break the shield, but at the same time, I feel like the Igneous Command is more effective. Um, Maybe if you want to go like one step higher, the Cletus Command is okay for the front line and giving yourself a theoretical. But the low bodies can work out pretty fast, and then you can actually do stuff. Before I was doing Gauge, I was playing Latara. I was playing this Latara deck, Latara Saren. It's my first Titan killer deck, and she's undefeated against 7 Titans. And all she does is, surprise, make a flanking troop every turn for 2 energy. She's stunning something without attacking. She's building a board. And then this is a really weak Solar Auxilia deck. This is not even a great deck. This is just my Solar Auxilia jank deck. It's got, all the Solar Auxilia stuff in there. It's got Stormhammer, it's got Ogre Sergeant, it's got the Barge. But basically, it's just spam troops, fill the board, put Solar Auxilia down, have them do things, and the fact that they're constantly filling, you don't have to exhaust your hand, and your stuff can flank and stun, and flank and stun, and get Survivor, and then you drop Edict of Censure to clear. Like, it just works. It works well. Against Titans, against other stuff, you might want to adjust it a little bit. Thaddeus Fail can basically make his entire board flanky flank McSteen, flanky McFlankstein, Ornithop's Barge at 8 energy is a flank. Um, like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you flank with some of the stuff to stun things every turn? And this is on the kind of medium curve. I'm not even talking with, with the Sol Nibirin. I haven't even built a deck yet with Ayatim Assad. That deck slot is taken up right now by a Titan only because I wanted to play them for the showcase, Steam stream, kind of get some understanding with how they play. Once I understand how they play, I can beat them very easy. And here's the thing. If you're playing Titans and you've only played Titans in events, that doesn't count. It's not good experience. You're not going to understand what they do. Get the cards, play them. Play them and understand their strengths and weaknesses. They are not as strong as you think. I've had games that I can, 2 shots from my big cannon wins the game, but it takes me, till 8 or 9 energy to get those big shots off. It takes a lot of card setup to make that happen. It's not ever reliant. The Defenders of Caliban have got a lot of ways to fill the board. Luther can steal stuff, which is fantastic with Titans, and when they like to play like troops for frontline, and he just steals it. But he can refill his board so easily with the local uprisings and the Caliban's Heart. So by the time he's ready to go into his Whispers mode, I mean, that's just free health. And those Jaegers, you can ping. Why ping? What are they going to do? They can't attack you. Just go in there and just stun them. And because most of their targeting is going to be random anyways, and they're not going to want to waste it on the 1 energy. If they've got missile launchers on the shoulder, that's kind of a waste. White Scars. Wow, surprise. They have so many fast and flank that should not be an issue for you. Like this, whether it's Jangsai or Hibukan or Kinza, like, you should be able to flank and stun everything almost every turn, not to mention just use your Warlord, without, like, Jagatai Khan could just solo Jagatai Khan, not a good idea. But if you're running with bikes and you're not doing Whispers, why have a sneak attack? You don't need it. The point I'm trying to make here, guys, is there's a lot of options. 1,000 Suns, now that you can actually play troops, I think Sanic is okay for that. Maybe Arman. The targeting and taking damage, like the sit back and do things like that Amon and Magnus the Red, might want to do. Doesn't work against a big old blasty cannon. But Sonic and Airmen can attack still after they've used their abilities, after they've protected some troops. So that comes in really handy. And obviously, any of the Space Wolves, I would actually rank in terms of Space Wolves that are most effective against Titans, your standard Lehman Russ. You don't even have to do anything different with the Lehman Russ deck. A lot of flanking. This is so old. I need to update this. Wow, this doesn't even have punitive action in it. This doesn't even count. Punitive Strike, there should be 2 of these. So this doesn't even count as Lehman Russ deck. For shame. I don't even have my premium Baelai in here? Get out. Baelai, premium Baelai, get in that deck. No, I mean, every turn he's potentially stunning the entire, Titan weaponry, because everything in here flanks or attacks twice or has ward. Yeah. And then you take that deck and you tweak it slightly with Bolvi and then Weirdmake. Why Bolvi and Weirdmake? Bolvi gives the warding, which is huge because then he can ward himself and protect himself from that big cannon. The random is going to hurt. Felhand's okay, but he's not attacking an additional time as Lehman Russ is. Felhand could be as good as Bolvi, but I really like the ward. I'll be honest with you. Ward breaking stun and breaking the targeted for 12 damage, kind of a big deal. Oath or Weirdmake, he heals, but he's got low health. And Bjorn is really at the end bottom because he doesn't have any sort of pack ability. All of them good. Then you throw in the mission on top of that. That is basically giving, you're going to be attacking the troops that are likely to stick around because you're stunning, so they'll be attacking at least 8 times. And then you get the Howl of the Wolf King, and everything gets stronger just for attacking. That's an entire faction. That's an entire faction that doesn't have to worry. The Night Lords, you could argue, have a very similar benefit because they have so many flanking troops. They do. They have a lot of flanking troops to them. The problem with the Night Lords, aside from Playmaster Modrum, who I think once you start damaging weapons, he just every turn is going to be whittling them down. But the problem with the Night Lords is their troops are very low health. So if your opponent is a Titan and they manage to recover, stall, load their Gatling, they can wipe your board very easily, and then you don't have anything. You've wasted your energy. I have playing as a Titan. I've lost 1 game to a Night Lord, and I've won all my other games, although they've been very close wins. And I felt like, if my opponent had played a little differently, or if I had not made one move differently, I probably would have lost the game. So it was a much closer game. It felt like a good game. The point is, unlike the Space Wolves, who have ward, a little bit beefier health, as well as ways to heal or increase their stats, the Night Lords don't. They have just ways to increase attack damage, which is great if you get it, but if you don't, you're kind of hosed. Your standard Emperor's Children, not necessarily Lucius. I would probably say like either Saul is a decent recommendation because he can just bring out some big stuff early on, or Fulgrim, just playing perfection and getting that Whispers potentially, but then using cards like Peak Condition, which is basically a +6/+6, potentially with a Mark of Chaos on a single troop. Turn 3, or turn 2 even, if you drop a Severian squad, and it's a 3/3 that they didn't kill, cool. Next turn it's a 9/9 with a Mark of, Mark of Corn, Mark of Nurgle, whatever. Thanks. That's a lot. I mean, just think about that, feasibly, that's pretty good. Garrow is a Legion of One, a one-man stunning machine. He'll empty his whole hand to stun the board, but then he's got a whole board with troops that can attack and continue stunning and whittling down while he fills up his hand. Not a bad option. It's kind of a low-ditch option, but probably the best option of the Death Guard. Syaf and Morag, maybe. I'm got a video coming for Syaf. I gotta go back and see if I pinned some games because I was playing him pretty regular up until the Titan release. Had a blast. Really enjoy Syaf. and also surprisingly, Cardosia were two decks that I want to show off at some point, but kind of getting aside myself. Karn is a kind of an obvious guy, attacks twice. World leaders are very aggressive. If you throw down troops, they can do really well against Titans. Not a problem at all. Lucretia can spam the board. I mean, just off of what I've listed here in the time of talking is over a dozen different warlords. I can go probably another dozen more. That's 20 plus warlords out of 140. That's do the math. I don't know, what is that? 20, like 15%, 10, 15% minimum warlords that can actually deal with a single faction relatively well. And I feel like actually that's on par with every release. There's always a fact like Blood Angels. The entire faction has got drop pods. Their landing is almost guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed unless you're playing with a Titan that has got the Power Fist or a flanking troop. Like, that's another entire faction. It just boggles my mind, I guess. Well, I can't say it boggles my mind. I think the big thing, people see the Titan and they feel like it's overwhelming. It is, if you let it be. But if you actually think about ways to deal with it, and then you just play those ways to deal with it and surprise, Space Wolves are already a good deck. Blood Angels, Night Lords, Ultramarines, these things already work decently well. They may not have a 100% win rate all the time, but they're probably going to have a 95% win rate against Titans and a 60 plus win percent rate against everything else. Guess what? That's still a win rate that's in the positive. Play those things. You want to play something different that's edgy, then every now and then you come across a Titan and you lose. That happens. That's going to happen. You're going to have those games. Tacitus Proctor, turn 1, he goes first against a Titan. That's just free stuff. Free vehicles that are just going to get stronger every turn, and he doesn't even have to try. All he has to do is use his ability once even. It's just crazy. So there's a lot that I played. The two big ones, I would say the two big ones that I've played as far as event killers, Latara Saren, Marius Gage, the last week to week and a half. That's all I've been playing. Namus Raitan is up and coming for me. He's the next one I'm kind of working on just to be certified Titan killer. I want to get 10 wins Titans, 10-0 certified Titan killer. He gets the stamp of seal. 10-0 certified Titan killer. I can say Latara Saren and Marius Gage 100% for sure. That's a truth. And if you doubt it, give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. Check it out. If you don't like Marius Gage, try Gilliman. I don't think you'll have too much wildly different results. There will be a slight result there, but because Gilliman has to play a little bit differently. But in the end, you're actually going to have the same, very similar deck play and approach. Latara Saren, I'm trying to think if there's any other troops any other warlords that make flanking troops. I don't think there is. Not to mention, the thing I really like about Latara, I should go back and repeat as far as why this is so important for her. Because she's got, number one, if she gets the counterattack, which she won't against a Titan, she's got the Armsman, the 1/1 with flank, but she also has got the Ursa's Claw, which even if your opponent manages to shake off your attacks and then they load all their weapons, you can just Ursa's Claw and stun their entire board, and that works really well. So I like that. I like that just as an extra pinch, and you don't have to use it turn 1 or turn 2. You can use that when you're at 5 or 6 energy, and then it's not enough energy for your opponent to unstun and fire all their weapons. They might get one weapon off, and by that point you've already got a full board. You just gotta play smart. But that's every game. That's every game. That's not just one game with Latara versus every game. You should be playing smart. I don't know. This is more just kind of me rambling with Titan killing ideas for people, because this is what I've been doing all week. I've been in my mind rambling about ways to play against the Titans, and they're not overpowered. I don't think they are. I think they could use some adjustments, but I don't. I'm not losing interest in playing the game. But real life has been occupying me a little bit more, and the whole Warp Forge thing is kind of dividing my focus. So I want to stay focused. So if I'm going to stay focused, I got to dive in. I got to talk about it. I got to talk it out. And the only way to talk it out is to talk it out here, do a video, get my thoughts out there, stop dragging my heels. So that is Titan killing ideas. Now, I've got deck lists I'm going to be doing, hopefully in the next week or two, get some deck videos out there. 1 or 2 a week. Like I said, I've got some guys I've been playing and having fun with, without just showing here's the deck. Let's show you the replays. Let's show you the card selections and why I chose the cards, whether they're fun, whether they are just like up your alley because you want to play a Warlord, or because nobody has done a deck video for it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what time comes. But keep checking out the channel. I appreciate it if you have. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you don't like it, tell me why. Share in the comments below. Always listening to feedback. Hopefully this video encourages you and inspires you, or at least tells you, you know what, like, you're right, I'm on the right track, or I didn't think about those things. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there. Let's get some dialogue talk. Let's get players excited to play the game and continue that excitement, because that excitement's going to do one of two things. It's either going to roll over to Warpforge, or it's just going to go away, and then it'll be sad. It'll be sad news. And I'm almost at my 3 skull prestige. I don't want to like have 3 skull prestige and be sad. I want to be happy. So that's it for me, guys. Till next time, keep playing Legions, and we'll talk to you later.